this really had been a very bad night. Meanwhile, as the trees burned before them and around them, Kamikaze stopped teasing Berserks. "Fire!" she yelled. "Fire! Make for the harbour!" bellowed the chief Berserk. Prisoners, Berserks, fiancés, all stampeded down the rope bridges away from the direction of the fire towards the direction of the Berserk harbour. And above them, down, 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 Hiccup plunged, with Toothless shooting after him. Down, down, the boy fell from the heights of the Dragon Furies, and he would have plunged to his death if the Windwalker hadn't shot towards the falling boy. Dragons are magnificent flyers. They have evolved to catch their prey mid-air, and so the Windwalker timed it perfectly, shooting upwards in 4 great sliding flaps of his wings, catching Hiccup by the back of his collar as he fell through the air. Well, he timed it nearly perfectly. He caught Hiccup slightly off balance, and the weight of the boy sent him into an aerial spin, and the boy and dragon carried on plunging down into the inferno below, bouncing off a tree branch and landing by pure fluke on one of the rope bridges, which shivered and whined and threatened to break and held. Hiccup was thrown unconscious, and the Windwalker had entangled one of his wings in the ropes of the bridge. Squeaking wildly in alarm, Hiccup and Toothless landed on his master's chest and licked his face frantically in order to wake him up. The entire forest was in flames now, and trees that had taken hundreds of years to grow were turned in an instant from wood into a bonfire. Hiccup's eyes opened. He staggered groggily to his feet. "I need help," stammered the Windwalker, and Hiccup tugged at the tangles that were holding the Windwalker's wing. He had nearly worked it free, and in the nick of time, too, for both ends of the rope bridge were now in flames when a limping figure appeared at the end of the bridge. It is never wise to forget about Alvin. You to always be aware of him plotting in the shadows, creeping up behind you, cloak flapping behind him like a malevolent bat. As indeed he was creeping up behind Hiccup right at that very moment, tiptoeing so carefully on the rope bridge that his ivory foot barely made a tap, Stormblade fixed in his metal attachment a furious grin on what remained of his face. You would have thought that Alvin would have used the pandemonium to quickly escape himself. After all, Alvin was as much a prisoner as the poor souls hidden in the tree trunks. He had spent nearly a whole year cooking for the Berserk army. Partly in chains himself, forced to be subservient and polite, he was certainly not allowed to leave. So why did Alvin not take advantage of the chaos to slip away to freedom? Why was he not, like the others, fleeing the fire? The answer is that over the years, Alvin's hatred of Hiccup had been growing in his brain like some great quiet cancerous weed that sprouts its tentacles, shoots into every nook and cranny. Now it has grown so poisonously, mazily, dizzily strong that it has taken over his brain entirely, choking the life out of every other thought. Even his sense of self-preservation, which used to be Alvin's strongest point, was now weaker. That is hatred at Hiccup, and now look, he's saying, "I shall get you, Hiccup Renders III, even if it is the last thing I do." Do not feel too smug, readers. Alvin is not the first, nor shall he be the last human being to be so consumed with hatred that he would rather die himself than see his enemy live to fight another day. Up behind Hiccup, Alvin crept, and Toothless only just had time to shout, "Behind you, behind you!" for Hiccup to turn and draw and meet Alvin's blade. Sword, blade on blade, and the two swords crashed with a bright, clean ring, Grimbeard's best and second best swords. The Stormblade and the Endeavour, and the boy and the man began to fight. There they are fighting. I'll have to have the next bit tomorrow. See you then.